actually fairly apposite when you consider some of the things that you'll see these guys trying to get up. As I was saying, this 1991-92 indoor series began at Saragossa back in October. And it's been via Seville, Turin, Montpellier, Girona, Granada, San Sebastian, Toulouse, Marseille, Oviedo in Spain, and finally Barcelona on February the 14th, before ending up here at Bercy for the 12th and final round of what is an entirely unofficial series. But at the end of 1992... series. And Bercy tonight is being run over the sort of rules that will apply when the World Championship comes into being towards the end of this year. This man Lulu Bernadelli was very much involved in the early stages of setting up indoor trials. After Sammy Miller had given his demonstration in Charlottesville, North Carolina, in front of 20,000 American fans, riding over a Volkswagen and a Studebaker in 1975, the first indoor trial, the Solo Moto, took place at Barcelona in 1976. And here, by way of a novel introduction, we have Tommi Avhala, second in the World Championship from Finland. Not surprisingly, his favourite hobby is skiing. Avhala had an amazing season in 1991. After a very dismal sort of start, he came better and better as the year went on, and at the very last round in Czechoslovakia, won the last round in Czechoslovakia and pipped Diego Bosis on a tiebreaker for second place. Both of them had won 2 rounds. But Tommy was 4 times second in Ireland, Belgium, Poland and Italy, and Bosis only twice second in Luxembourg and Finland. So they were tied on 180 points, but Avhala was the runner-up on the Italian Aprilia. This is actually the youngest rider at Bercy tonight. November the 18th, 1971, he was born in Helsinki. So he's just 20 years old.
Moi, je parle pas bien finlandais. Tu parles finlandais, toi?
Pas très bien.
It is remarkable to realise that perhaps the time of year you're born depends on how well you can ride this amazing sport. Because the birth dates of these top 10, 8 of them are in September, October and November. Tarres and Michaud were born on the 10th and 11th.
If I come here for being number 2, it's not enough for me. So I'll do my best, but there's also all the best riders in this world, so it will be very difficult to be number 1.
Génial, j'ai compris le finlandais. En gros, ils viennent de dire.
Sounds like Tommi Avhala's come here to win.
Numéro 2 qui va vers son mieux et qui va leur montrer de quoi on est capable en Finlande. Et ben nous on va lui montrer de quoi on est capable à Paris et on applaudit la Finlande.
Merci.
He hasn't actually won any of the indoor events across this winter series, although he did manage to finish second in Saragossa, third in Turin, San Sebastian and Barcelona.
Numéro 2, le numéro 4, le numéro 6, le numéro 9. Quand on annonce les 10 meilleurs mondiaux, il serait quand même relativement...
As I was saying about birthdays, Tarres and Michaud were born on the 10th and 11th of September. Bosis and Miglio were both born on the 9th of October, Camozzi on the 10th, and Girard on the 16th, and Avhala and Bellatier were born on the 13th and 14th of November. So what it is in the stars at that time of the year that makes you able to balance a motorcycle as amazingly as these blokes do, as skillfully and as determinedly, I don't quite know.
Record de victoires en Grand Prix de Trial, 36 victoires. Ça aussi, c'est bien.
But if you think that people are telling jokes when they say that you ride a trials bike to keep fit, you would be amazed, considering how low the speeds are, just how astonishingly demanding it is and how fit you have to be.
Figurez-vous, parmi nous, il s'appelle Jordi Tarres, et nous l'attendons et nous l'accueillons. Jordi Tarres.
The first French indoor trial at Bercy was inspired by this legendary commentator and journalist, Lulu Bernadelli. And now here he is, 13 years later, introducing the third Trials Masters of Bercy. And this just could be the heroic, over-the-top French introduction of the four-time world and reigning champion, Jordi Tarres. 25-year-old, born on September the 10th, 1966 at Rollinar, near Barcelona in Spain. He first appeared as an 18-year-old in the World Championships in 1985 and finished 11th. 1986 he finished 4th, and 1987 he won the World Championship from Bosis, Michaud and our own Steve Saunders. In 1988 he finished second by 5 points to Michaud, which is the only time in his successful years that Tarres failed to attain 200 points. Michaud won it with 202. Tarres was second with 197. Every other time he's been well beyond the 200 mark with convincing wins. Out of 12 rounds this year, he won 6 of them. That's really quite remarkable. He won in Luxembourg, Ireland, Belgium, Spain, Italy and Sweden. And also, up till now, in the indoor series, which you remember is just a series of isolated individual events, he's won 6 of them as well, out of the 11 that have so far been held. Taking first place in Seville, Turin, Montpellier, San Sebastian, Toulouse and Barcelona. As you can see, his considerable sponsorship deals include Coca-Cola, Castrol and Ducados, which is a Spanish cigarette.
Bonne nuit, Paris. Bonne nuit, Paris. Qu'est-ce qu'il dit, Paris, quand on lui dit bonne nuit, Paris? Bon, Jordi, toujours le même problème ici. Numéro 1, champion du monde.
Jordi is presently leading the Spanish Championship after winning the first 2 rounds ahead of Marco Colomé and Amos Bilbao. The French say of him that he never takes unnecessary risks. That's hard to believe, but with the consistency that he's shown over the number of years he's been in the World Championship, then perhaps it's true.
Je pense qu'il est toujours difficile de gagner tous les côtés, et aujourd'hui encore plus, non?
Incidentally, he and Michaud have dominated the World Championship since 1985 now, and always on Italian bikes. Tarres has always ridden the Italian Beta. The Beta 0260 is the bike that he rides now. And 3 times Michaud has won it for Fantic. When the World Championships first began, it was very much a Spanish-dominated affair. Bultaco, the Spanish concern, won the first 5 World Championships with Martin Lampkin, Iriel Vesturinen and Bernie Schreiber, the only American who's ever scored World Championship victory. And then the Spanish concern Montesa won in 1980 with Ulf Karlsson, a Swede. But after Eddie Lejeune's 3 victories in 1982, 3 and 4 for Honda, the Italians have taken over with a vengeance.
C'est quand même embêtant. Les mecs du son, ils sont sourds. Faut les excuser, c'est comme ça.
One thing you get used to with Paris Bercy is that even the guys who drive the course tractors become stars. When they were sorting, when we'll be back with you in a few moments. Take a break. So let's come back and find out what's happened with this tractor, whether he's done anything exciting back at Paris Bercy in a minute.
Et alors on fait quoi là? On fait quoi maintenant?
Welcome back to Paris Bercy for the 3rd Masters trial. And that little tractor you were viewing just before the commercial break, carrying on it a large wooden box, turned out to be a sort of living coffin for Diego Bosis, the 24-year-old Italian who won the first 2 Paris Bercy Masters trials. So he's a very popular man here in Paris. Diego led the World Championship in 1991 for the until half distance, after winning the British and French rounds.
2 fois vainqueur du Trial Master de Bercy, peut-être ce soir la 3e.
He's been in the top 3 for the past 3 years, riding Aprilia in 1989 and 90 and swapping to Fantic in 1991.
Alors, puisqu'on est venu pour voir du trial, eh ben, je crois que c'est le moment.
He's won 2 of the indoor trials that we've had this winter, in Marseille and Oviedo, where he beat Tarres, finished second in San Sebastian and Girona, and third in Toulouse and Granada.
Nous éclater. Alors on s'éclate. Voilà, et bien celle-là. Donc,
Lulu, meantime, is still playing games with the crowd as they get built up ever so steadily to this remarkable selection of almost moonscape sets that we've got here. The riders will be going out in pairs around this particular track, so we're going to have rather a lot to watch at once things get hotted up, which they're certainly doing at this moment. This stadium's hosted some amazing events in its time. Besides the Paris Open Tennis Championship, it also has the fabled annual Supercross, November, December each year. It's even been swamped underwater to produce jet skiing. But it's set down about 20 feet from the actual front stalls. So there's an awful lot you can do with that enormous well that you've got in front of you. And the seating, the fabulous red seating, accommodates 15,000 people. It is an amazing piece of design altogether. The outside of it, which rises in a sort of 45-degree terracing, is covered in beautiful green turf.
Bon, Fred, va falloir nous expliquer comment on procède là. On a 10 pilotes, 6 zones. Comment on fait?
C'est-à-dire qu'il y a 2 paires de pilotes qui vont rentrer faire les 6 zones et 2 pilotes.
After the first 1979 French indoor trial, which attracted people like Vesterine and Charles Coutard, who was then the leading French exponent, and our own Martin Lampkin, Malcolm Rathwell and Mick Andrews, Lulu Bernardelli put on a follow-up event at Bordeaux in 1980, which attracted 10,000 fans. And that was it. The game was beginning to get established. So in a way, it's surprising that it took until the 30th of January 1990 for the first Masters trial to take place here at Bercy. But it's now things are getting well and truly established. Saragossa was the second of its kind, Seville was the third, Turin was the 12th. So it was the Italians who followed most swiftly into a regular series of events after Barcelona had established itself way back in 1976. The first regular French event, in fact, that is still going now, is Toulouse, which Tarres somehow won on the 17th of January of this year with a score of -1. Wasn't good enough to get 0, which is what Miglio got for second place. The scoring is fairly simple. If you put your foot down once on one of these outrageous hazards, you lose 1 point. If you put your foot down twice, you lose 2 points. If you put your foot down 3 times, you lose 3 points. And after that, you're counted 5, which is virtually the same as stopping or falling off. In the good old days of when British trials were the tops, you had to maintain forward motion, but you'll notice with these wizards that they don't have to do that. They can stop and even go into reverse. As Thierry Michaud is showing here, he's thinking, how can I get out of this without putting my feet down? How does he get the grip to get over there? It looks a very, very tricky one. You'll notice that Michaud is riding an Aprilia. He's now teamed up with his friend D'Amato Miglia, and he had to put his foot down eventually. Miglia actually got fired by the Aprilia factory at the end of 1991, but likes the bike so much he decided to set up his own private team and carry on riding the bikes. So the factory will supply the team with bikes for 1992. You can get some idea of how Michaud came to break his leg in 1990 doing things like this. It's quite a long way if you choose to fall. So far, as you can see, that finger raised bottom left, he's lost 1 point for 1 foot down. And of course, there isn't a time limit involved in this. Oh! And he's off. That was a nasty jump to attempt. The Aprilia is a water-cooled bike, the Climber. It certainly didn't climb far enough for Thierry Michaud there. He just didn't have the distance to make that count.